Hi, I'm Eva from Happy Painting, and I want to invite you to our gratitude series. And what better way to start off our gratitude series than by making our very own card that you can send as a thank you card to someone else. So grab your paints and join me. So we will be creating this cute little pixie. I've already drawn an outline in pencil, but the way that you would start is by shaping a sideways C for the face and then giving a slightly curved hat to our pixie, so you want it bending slightly upwards above his forehead and then just giving it a little wiggle and swirl at the end. The body is simply cone-shaped with an arm on the left and the right, and the one extending out to the right will be holding our heart as a little thank you to whoever you might want to send this personalized thank you card. So before I go into my watercolors, I spray them with water to wake them up and activate the colors. And as we are trying to get a really nice blending effect, we will be using the wet in wet technique. So first, starting with the hat for our pixie, we will be coloring it, well, not coloring it in just yet, but wetting it before coloring it in. So just dip your brush in water, ideally clean, and well, colour it in for lack of better words. Get everything wet inside the pixie's hat. This will just really help the colours to mix and blend in the true watercolour fashion that can become so magical and is the joy of watercolour. So I start with one of my favourite colours in the bottom left of the hat. I'm starting with turquoise, and I'll try and pull the colour up a little bit so it will resurface higher up. I then go in with my blue, and again I'm not trying to have one section for one colour and then another one. I am trying to pull the colour up into different sections of the hat to give it that magic. And you will notice that when you bring a new colour in like this, purple or dark blue, when you mix it with the other colours, yet another shade of that colour starts to appear, which isn't the original one that you put in with your brush on a white surface. So there will be so many unique colours in your blend that will just be on this one card that you're creating, which will truly come from your heart and be a unique masterpiece, if you will. So it is always wonderful to receive a thank you from someone, but it can also be incredibly magical if you take the time to think of someone that you would like to extend a thank you to and write this down in a card, in a message, and you will be surprised how happy this can make yourself. So it might just be a really good friend that you would like to tell them that they are really special to you, that you appreciate the walks that you go on, for example, or maybe you have amazing phone calls, maybe you barely ever speak with each other, but every once in a while they will be that friend you can reach out to out of the blue. Or maybe someone lent you a book or recommended you a podcast or a day out, and you could take this card as an opportunity to say thank you and tell whoever recommended you something what a wonderful day you had, and what joy came from their recommendation. So it could be a thank you for that. And I like to dip back into my colours and dip my brush in the colour on the paper that I've already done to just create some more vibrant areas and some more different areas of colour blends. And to be honest, it is just so therapeutic and so joyful to mix with the colours and watch them blend. And I do particularly love my blue and my pinks and purples and the turquoise. And we will be doing the same for the body of our little pixie. So again, I will wet the area where I want to colour and blend. So maybe with your gratitude, with your thank you card, you might be thanking a family member just purely for being there, for being supportive, for always having had your back, or for a particular thing that they've done for you recently. And the wonderful thing is, when you write a thank you letter to someone, it makes you relive whatever it was that you're grateful for, and it is that feeling that can really lift you up, that can turn your day around, and you're reliving it. And the person receiving your card will really appreciate it, let's hope. And for them that can really turn a day around as well, or can mean a lot, because all too often I think thanks or appreciation is glossed over or just quickly said, like a thank you here, thank you there. But if you take the time to really think about, well, why did that make me feel good, or why was that great, or why was this helpful, and put that into words and let the other person know, it can be absolutely wonderful. So I just love to play with the colours, blend them, mix the blue in with the purple, with the pink. Just dot my brush in and let the paint do the magic by blending more and spreading out and giving you that amazing blending effect that is so wonderful to look at. You could even consider writing your thank you card to a pet. If you don't have anyone that you are wanting to reach out to just now, You could write a symbolic message to a pet if you have one, or to nature, or your favorite flower, and tell the flower or the tree why it makes you happy and how you feel. So for the face, again, I will wet it beforehand. Do make sure that your hat and your body are dry so that colour doesn't bleed in. So I will use a very, very faint ochre brown tone to colour in the face of my pixie and the hand. So you can see it really is very, very faint. And there's the hand. And we will now give our little pixie some rosy cheeks. So for this I use a fairly bright pink, but only very, very little colour, and I dab it in the still wet face where I want his cheeks. And again, the colour will spread out, and if it isn't dark enough, you can still go in later with a more concentrated version of that pink, or even more of a red tone, and dab that onto his cheeks again to give an even more concentrated red in the middle. For my heart, I have just chosen a red without too much blending going on, as we have a lot everywhere else in the picture. So here you can see I am just adding one more little dot of more concentrated red to the cheeks, which to start off with will look scary and too strong. So you can always go in with a pen, a brush, and dab it around. So once everything is dry, you can start on the arms. So you do want the body to be dry to make sure they don't bleed and mix colours into one another. And as everything else is really colourful already, I will be colouring the arms in a fairly faint blue with a slight hint of green, but barely detectable. But I'm purposely keeping them much calmer so the eye doesn't get overwhelmed where to look at and everything looks the same. So once everything is dry, we will bring out our fine liners and trace around the contours and the edges. So for the face, I will do a continuous line, but around the hat for our pixie, I will make the line wiggly a bit interrupted, with little swirls, basically letting my hand play. And sometimes it's inside the lines, sometimes it's outside the lines. That is absolutely fine and is actually part of the picture. And here and there I will add some little swirly whirlies, because again it makes me happy. I will add his hair, which is literally just a few lines, pointing left, pointing right, nothing fancy, just simple pixie hair. I will add 2 tiny little eyes and a really happy, big, smiley mouth. And for our cheeks, I will add just a few little dots to give an impression of some freckles, just to add some freckly magic to our pixie. And I will do the same with the body, again, wiggly, wriggly lines. It just gives your little pixie some character, it loosens the picture, and it stops the critical voice in your head, the perfectionist, if you have one. For my heart, I do slightly less wiggly lines. And now I will add some hearts coming off our little pixie, because he is happy, he is grateful, he is sending out love, he's sending out happiness and joy into the world to whomever or whatever might receive your thank you card. So yeah, I've mentioned earlier, if maybe a thank you card to a friend, to a family member is just too far out there for now, consider writing it to something that's made you happy. So it might be a flower garden, it might be a wonderful sunset. So if it's not too silly for you, consider writing a thank you letter to the sunset, to the flower, to your favorite tree, to your amazing cup of tea in the morning. And just humor me, try it out, tell it how it's made you feel, why it brought joy to your life, and read it back in a week, in a month, next year. That joy will come back to you. So I'm using white pen now to add some circles, some swirls, some dots, some stars, whatever I feel like. I'm letting my pen, my hand play on my pixie to feel the joy, to feel the happiness. And because the colour range does somewhat remind me of a galaxy, I have gone for some stars, but I have added a little heart as well. But you can add whatever pattern, shapes, whatever feels right to you, whatever wants to come out, whatever wants to be on our special pixie's hat or body. And I will get my fine liner out again to add some more swirls or lines where I feel like I want some more. And then of course my gold gel pen, one of my favorite pens to come out, because it adds that sparkle, that glittery effect, and just, I know, it lets my heart sing. And my particular pen, when you hold the picture up to the light and it catches the light in different angles, the picture, the golden pigment will light up and reflect the light in different ways, and it just adds that hidden little magic to the card that only an original watercolor can do, or gel pen in this instance. And our pens, our colouring pencils are coming out as well. So for the arms, I've decided to go for slightly different patterns. So semicircles with a double line, just again to highlight that the arms are slightly different. There's something different to discover for your eye. And some dots and circles. And just to make this really colourful and really magical, I will add some circles outside the pixie. That might be the pixie's magic coming off his body. That might be the power of gratitude. That might be the little sparkles of joy and happiness, and that feeling inside you or the pixie that made you feel grateful, that made you feel like, that was an amazing moment, or that cup of tea in the morning tasted divine. That sunshine that hit me in the morning, that might be those little dots. So I draw them wherever I feel like it. I can draw them on top of our pixie or outside the pixie. I make smaller ones, bigger ones, fainter ones, stronger ones. And it just gives that pixie that airy, magical, light feeling. And it gives me a chance to carry on playing with my pens, being in that feeling, in that zone. So hopefully there will be something that you thought of that you can be grateful for, that you can anchor in this picture. So if you do end up keeping this for yourself to read back again in a week's time, a month, a year, maybe you've managed to think of something that you can anchor in this picture. So whenever you see this, you might re-feel that happiness, that joy, that contentment, that awe, that sparkle, that magic, because you have anchored it in this picture. And on the heart, I am just echoing the same pattern that are on the arms of our pixie, almost like the gratitude is coming out of the pixie and transferring onto that heart that hopefully will be received by someone special, and it is a little piece of you. So my gold pen is coming out again, just because it is a wonderful pen and the heart deserved some golden sparkles. So now at the end, I am giving my pixie a bit of a frame to sit in, which sometimes is just a nice little addition at the end. And I am not drawing it fully, so wherever there is a little sparkle of a colourful ball, I will leave a gap, which adds a bit of dynamic. And again, it isn't a straight and perfect line, it is wiggly, wriggly, it is discontinued in certain bits. It is just very lively. It's not straight, but again, that adds the charm. Lastly, I'm just adding 2 white dots on the eyes to give them a bit more sparkle. Why not? So I really hope you have found something or even someone to send this card to. You can write your text on the back or attach a letter and send out some wonderful magic into the world. If you've got any pencil guidelines, you can rub them out. And there we have it, our gratitude pixie. I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you in the next tutorial.